Jersey crypto here. I got this idea, man, with these exchanges. They're gonna start driving the price up. And what I'm gonna start paying attention to is I'm gonna start placing buy orders just to see what they're selling me the coins for. Because as the price starts to go up way higher in percentage than the actual cost of the coin, that's when I'm gonna know that they're trying to drive prices up. And then soon after, you'll see the prices going up. Because everyone thinks that the coins are cheap right now, and guess what? It's holidays. It's money spending season. So the markets don't want to choke out the idea of spending money. What do they want to do? They want to drive the prices of the coins up. Now, they're probably making more money on the way down, the exchanges. And that's why these consolidation periods are extended in crypto. Same with the hedge funds. The hedge funds can move around so much money that they can basically, essentially hedge funds get as close to making transactional money on every single move they make. Not as much as the exchanges, though. The exchanges hold all the power in crypto. So in order for the market not to die, because it's money spending season right now. What happens after Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's, all that stuff, people are worn out. People are worn out from spending money. So they're going to have to drive the price up by the end of this week. I'm calling it. They're driving the price up by the end of this week. This is going to be a crazy week. We're seeing new lows right now, which is scaring a lot of people into selling. The exchanges are probably making more money right now than in the past probably year. And it's because they're buying back the coins for probably 10%, 15% less than what the value is. And then as soon as they start selling them back for like maybe the same amount, 15, 20% more than the coin's actual value, what's that going to do? It's going to give it a spike. And then when they keep it at that deviation, that positive deviation from the actual cost of the coin, what's that going to do? It's going to drive that price rate up. So one of the main things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be placing buy orders and seeing what the deviation is on the high side and what they're actually charging for these coins beyond the value. And I just want to see how different it is as we get deeper into the week. Now, this is something that I haven't necessarily paid attention to for like, you know, periodically throughout like several days. But just my instinct tells me, in general, if they know that people are in money spending mode right now, like right now people want to cash out to get presents, whatever. I don't know what everyone's like, you know, doing specifically, but I know there are people that are obviously trying to take some money to buy gifts for the holidays, you know. But they also don't want to miss out on crypto gains, baby. So they're going to start driving that price up. Not financial advice, but I guarantee it. Because without the price going up, they can't make another drive down as much as they would be able to. Like, imagine everything triples in price and they've been selling it for 10-15% on top of each other. Put it this way, if you have 100 coins, right, you're an exchange. I'm just using 100 coins, make it easy. You sell all the 100 coins for 15% more than the actual value. Right? Say the coins were worth $1. You sold them all for $1.15. So now you're at $115. Then when you're buying them back, you're buying them back if they're at $1.15, you're buying them back at like $1.05. So now you're automatically having an extra 10 cents more in value on each coin that you're holding. Then you're reselling them for $1.20, $1.25 when they're still only worth $1.15. So that process happens repeatedly with these exchanges. Like, I guarantee that by now, every coin that the exchanges hold costs them literally nothing. And now it's just money coming in from these transactions. Because they have to buy them in order to sell them. So, if you bank on the transactions, the amount of transactions, you can never lose. Because it's only a matter of time before your entire share of those coins ends up being free. And with how convenient crypto is in making and in buying and selling, people do it way too easily. They're handing these exchanges so much money. And when like, they're greedy, obviously. It's a business. It's meant to be that way. Now, all they have to do is, instead of 15%, they boost it up to like 20%. You know what I mean? Blame it on volatility. And then that's going to drive the price up that much more. Because then you have buy orders just coming in at 20% more than the actual value of the coin. And once that reaches a certain amount, then that's when it starts to drive up the coin. Now, the reason why this works and the reason why people will spend that money is because you never know who is starting those transactions. Like, it could be just new people into the market, you know what I mean, like, that are like, don't even realize that they're paying 20% more than the actual value of the coin. And then once that starts boosting up, then even the people that have been, you know, watching and trying to be, you know, careful with what they're spending, they're buying it because now the price is going up. So they're like, I don't want to miss this spike. So there's always a reason to pay more for a coin than its actual value. Not only that, when you're on your cell phones, which I'd like to see the statistic of how many people are actually just trading on their cell phones, because I guarantee that this is not a market full of people sitting on their computers at home. Now, when you're on your cell phone, what are you doing? You're doing a lot of everything else. So you see numbers real quick. You're like, oh, it's cheap right now. And you just assume that whatever the cost of making that purchase or whatever the cost of making that sale is a standard. It's always going to be that way. It always costs that much. Well, when it's not a standard, that's when people get ripped off. Where is the standard? So watch your buy, just create buy orders and see what they're selling you these coins for. No matter what exchange you're on, just see what they're selling the coin for, and see if the actual percentage that they're tacking on starts rising. Because as that percentage starts rising, if that is the case, you're going to see the market start going up. I guarantee it. And if we do figure this out, now I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm right yet, but what makes sense to me, and the biggest whales, they want to blame it on some whales, the no-name whales, who you don't know who's buying. No, the whales are the exchanges. And they have the biggest bags because they're supplying all the coins to the marketplace. I mean, think of it. You got Coinbase, Crypto.com, Kraken, KuCoin, Binance. You got all these other, Gate.io, and all this. Like, how many exchanges do you have? How many coins are there? When you see the first transactions of these cryptos coming out, most of them are sending coins to the exchanges. The exchanges are buying them up. Especially the coins that are worthwhile. You know what I mean? The only reason why the exchanges aren't the first ones buying them up, like if you start buying a coin that isn't on exchanges, the only volatility, which the volume's probably super low, the only volatility will happen is when when there's a low circulating supply, because there's not enough volume. And then as soon as an exchange sees enough transactions happening with a coin and say they want to add them to a exchange, that's when they have that bag of coins to transfer over to the exchange, because the exchange has to buy up so many coins. Now when the exchange buys the coins, what happens? There's a spike, and then everyone sees that spike, and where are they going to buy them from? They're going to buy them from the exchange. So the entry into these coins, as long as there's enough people's eyes on the coin, even if the exchange invests initially to buy a big boatload of the coin, once that price starts spiking because of them buying up the the amount of coins they need to add enough liquidity in their own marketplace, people are going to start buying them for, and also they're charging more than the actual value of the coin. So they're making money right off the rip. That's why that young guy that came out with an exchange, FNX or whatever it is a billionaire already. And he's not going to stop making money because, listen, I mean, at the end of the day, we need to use the exchanges. But being aware of this stuff just will help you basically predict the market. If we do figure this out, you'll be able to predict the market. I'm sure you think these exchanges are holding this many coins. in their bank and not trying to sell them or buy them for cheaper than the value. And the more of those transactions that they make, the more money they make. They want to make money. And at this point, they want to make money more than you and I, because they're willing to force it. And they're way more strategic. So this is something to think about. I mean, these are all like kind of new thoughts in my head. At first, I've got a video back 3-4 months ago, whatever. No, not that long. I don't even think my channel's that old, but I think probably 2.5, 3 months ago, about crypto.com. But there's a reason behind everything. And if you just start digging a little bit deeper on these observations that you're making, then you'll find out that maybe it's a way bigger observation than you thought. You know, at first I was like just trying to protect myself and understand what's going on, you know, how they can affect me. But if you think about it, listen, if you're thinking it, everyone's thinking it. And there's always someone that comes first, but unless you're willing to say it, then your thought holds no value. Not to everyone else. A value is a means of exchange. So all these thoughts that you guys are thinking, you got to say them. Even if they're wrong, it creates the conversation. And then either you learn something or someone else learns something. Either way, it's positive. So I'm willing to say the stuff that pops into my head, and I want you guys to hit me in the comments and say whatever is in your head. Now, just my thoughts are the exchanges are the ones moving the market. And their number one goal is keeping the transaction rate super high. They don't want to, like Coinbase has their they're public. So they have their stock, their shareholders as well. So I don't know if they're as aggressive as crypto.com, but why wouldn't they be? You know, they're aggressive. They gotta be. So just let's see if we could see a pattern. I mean, is there a standard in what they're buying and selling for? Because if they could just blame it on volatility, then who's to say otherwise? But if you start to see a pattern where they're charging substantially more or even fractionally more right before things start going up, then that's something that we can pay attention to. I mean, how many people are just putting buy orders in, or like, you know, placing buy orders, but not actually putting them through, just to see what they're trying to sell you the coin for? Probably not that many people. I think more people should start doing that. I mean, listen, my channel is small, so feel lucky. If this is true, then feel lucky, because you're one of few. If this is true, you're one of few. Jersey crypto, baby. Crypto gains. Let's get them.